CryptoForGrowMyBag.tv. Hope you're having a good one. What's good? What's good? What's good? We've actually got a lot of news going on. A lot of news going on. Last night, we touched on something, and I don't think we gave it enough credit. Hear me out. So last night, we touched on, who was it? Grayscale launching an lodging an S1 or filing an S1 for their BitTensor trust to be converted into an ETF. A pause touched on another company releasing their S1s. And their S1s, I mean, BitTensor, Aave, I mean, they just have a list. Bitwise isn't playing. They filed 11 S1s yesterday. That's a lot. That's more than just a lot. More than just a lot. Let me see if I can find all of them in a list for you. I know they're in the article, but I don't have them all. Aave, Uniswap, and Zcash, BitTensor, all in that pile. They're all in that pile. And the reason why I bring it up is because there's a lot of infrastructure being built out. There are a lot of avenues being pushed forward for people to get into crypto. I want you to pay attention to this because it's something that we brought up before. The avenues that are being opened up to buy crypto are outside of the normal means, meaning they are OTC transactions. OTC transactions, over the counter, direct. Meaning the ETF and goes and gets all of those assets, OTC, and then sell shares to their clients. Excuse me. So those prices never hit the open market. Legal manipulation, because you're not really manipulating the coin, you're stopping the natural flow of pricing, right? And it's illegal. It's illegal. Should it be? Maybe that's something we need to discuss, because if you look at all of the inflows, let's say for XRP, 29 days straight of positive inflows. If you look at that, then you've got to say to yourself, well, wait a minute. Wouldn't the price have gone up had we been paying attention? Had that happened on the open market? Oh yeah, would have skyrocketed. Oh yeah. But these ETFs, like I said, they cut deals, get the digital assets, sell their shares, all OTC. And you sit there and you're kind of like, damn. And let's not get it twisted. It can cut both ways. It can cut both ways. It can bring the markets up. It can bring the markets down. But at least you understand who's buying, who's not, and it's all direct, it's all transparent, it's all out there in the open. I'm not advocating for either side. I'm just telling you how it works, right? For me, personally, I would like to see more people get educated. Because here's what people think. Here's what the bulk of people think, in my humble opinion. Excuse me. You buy an ETF, you're relatively safe. I didn't have to go through all this stuff to go get I didn't have to go get a wallet and blah, 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 on-ramp money and yak. I didn't have to go through all that. I bought into this ETF. I wanted SUI, got into this ETF. I wanted XRP, got into this ETF. So on and so forth and so on and so forth. We need to educate people on how easy it is to go direct, cut out the middleman, don't have to pay any fees, and do it yourself. But you do have to think about who's buying into ETFs. Other institutions and people with means. People that don't have a lot of time, who don't want the extra burden of what? Managing money. The hardest job you will have, besides looking for a job, that is the hardest job in the world, is looking for a job. But when you're wealthy, the hardest job you'll have is managing your assets. The hardest job in the world by far after looking for a job. Wealthy people don't have that problem, right? Or at least not anymore. Some wealthy people built themselves up. Chamath Palihapitiya, one of them, he's the one that was talking on international TV about, UBI, like it was nothing. Like it would not like it was nothing, more like it's such a simple solution. He almost said it as if, why aren't you talking about it? Yeah. That's when you start to realize, wow, there are a lot of things going on. So when I look at OTC, when I look at OTC transactions, I look at it as we need to have less of that. We need to have more education for those retailers that are going direct or going indirect. I can understand if you're an institution, but if you're an institution, I don't know that you should get the benefit of an OTC transaction. I'm not a big fan of OTC transactions, but here's something else you should know. That's actually how it works. I go to a store, I buy something, and I pay with crypto. That's an OTC transaction. I do not require a middleman of any kind. Not a credit card provider, not a bank, not an exchange, nobody. I send the digital assets that I need to send in the amount that I need to send to you, done. You give me my product, you give me my service, keep it moving. You see how that's working? Yeah, that's when you start to realize, holy moly, as much as I don't like these big ticket OTC transactions, that's kind of how it works. That's kind of how it works. Just putting it out there for you so you can see both sides of the situation. Like, seriously. JP Morgan predicts that stablecoins will reach $600 billion in market cap by the end of 2028. $600 billion in market cap. I've been telling you for a while that you're going to start to see stablecoins in the top 10. Let me rephrase. More stablecoins in the top 10. You should be wary of which stablecoins you use. Some are shady and some are not, right? I can honestly say there are a couple that I can trust, that I would say I could trust. DAI has been around forever. Tether's been around forever. Circle, for me, in a limited fashion, that's what I'm going to look at, right? That's kind of where I'm going with it. Had to fix my collar. Just realized I was looking disheveled. Oof. Still need to shave. I know this. But there are other stable coins. One in particular that I look at and I just go, yeah, no. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Because the market cap that it has, to me, is bogus. It's absolutely bogus, so I would never touch it. As a matter of fact, anything having to do with the new regime in the United States, I wouldn't touch any of their products. I mean, don't get me wrong. I dabbled around with one of the tokens because, there was money to be made. But hold them, use them for normal transactions? Nope. I treated that particular token like a meme is supposed to be treated. Get in, get out. Get in, get out. Simple as that. South Korea's inflation slowed to 2.3% as expected, and that happened in December this month, above the 2% target, but really close, with housing prices in Seoul rising for 47 consecutive weeks, prompting analysts to suggest the central bank may avoid rate cuts. May avoid rate cuts. I wonder where else it is in the world that real estate is rising in price, food prices are rising, inflation is kind of rising. There's a problem with insurance, there's a problem with healthcare. So yesterday we were talking about the FOMC and how there's a bifurcation in terms of what they want to do next year and in terms of what they wanted to do this year. There's good reason for the debate. There's very good reason for the debate. Red Star, good morning. Don't forget to invest in yourself today. So you start to realize, oh, you cold? Really? Is it snowing where you are? Yeah, I don't want to hear it. I got 8 inches the other day. I'm not trying to hear about it. I don't want to hear about snow for a little while. But, again, I just look at the FOMC and I kind of go, people are saying, oh, the rates need to be cut, the rates need to be cut, the rates need to be cut. And I'm sitting here and I'm going, are you paying attention to inflation? And just because the Fed lowers rates doesn't mean that other rates are going to drop. There's no direct correlation between mortgage rates and the Fed rate. I'm just going to put that out there for you. There have been times where you can lower the Fed rate, but mortgage rates still go up. And vice versa. So I'm just saying, pay attention to what's out there. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. There are reasons why I say this day in and day out, several times a day. It's because your first investment is you. It's your first investment. Make it a good one. What else is going on? Pakistan ranked among the top 3 nations for crypto adoption in 2025 without a legal framework. CZ is actually involved in guiding or providing guidance to Pakistan. He's a part of that. There needs to be some kind of a legal framework. They're expecting that Pakistan could become one of the central hubs for crypto in the near future. And I'm sitting back and I'm going, I don't want to have anything to do with any hub, as they say, that doesn't have a legal framework. There need to be guardrails. I don't care what anybody tells you, anybody says, there needs to be guardrails. Just putting that out there for you. Ugandan opposition leader Bobby Wine urged adoption of the BitChat app ahead of 2026 elections due to internet blackouts. You want to know something? It's trending on Google search. It's trending. And guess what? Uganda is not the only country where BitChat has been blowing up. Good morning, Mr. Big. What's going on, buddy? Don't forget to invest in yourself today. So yeah, I pay attention to things like this. And some people are like, why would you care? Oh, I don't know. Because what happens in another country that could involve my bag makes a big deal. Basically, that's a pro crypto person who happens to be an opposition leader. Something to think about. Not everybody on this planet is pro crypto. There are a lot of people in power that whine about crypto. And I would challenge them that with all of the whining that you do with regard to crypto, don't you think it would be time for you to kind of, I don't know, start having a real conversation about your freaking fiat and how poorly managed it is? Doesn't that kind of make sense to you? Makes sense to me. Just saying. Just saying. I look at people and I just go, sometimes these hard conversations need to happen. And I don't see it happening around the world. I see greed getting greedier. That's what I see. And that needs to change. It's a massive problem. Companies, institutions, wealthy people, if they cannot figure out what enough is, that definition, the world is in for a big problem. A really big problem. What other news we have? Home-based Bitcoin mining resurgence in 2025 saw small-scale miners, adapt to post-2024 halving challenges using efficient hardware, heat recovery, and solar integration. Solar, get it? Me, I have solar. Just saying. Yeah, you're seeing an uptick in that space. You really, really are. Standard Chartered raised XRP's 2026 price target to $8. $8. They're citing U.S. regulatory clarity and institutional interest. Yeah, and a lot of implementation. The infrastructure was built already. And now you're starting to see people start to leverage that infrastructure. That's the difference. That's the difference. I saw an article with somebody who's like, we'll see. I think it was a Bitwise CEO saying, we'll see if the cycle is broken, if the 4-year cycle is broken. And I'm like, it's been broken, buddy. It's been broken. It doesn't exist anymore. There's certain things in play right now that are rewriting what the cycle is, was, will be, all that good stuff. All that good stuff. Because you can start to see the transition from backroom conversation to mainstream conversation when it comes to crypto and digital assets. That's when you start to realize, holy moly, yeah, there are things that are happening now that did not happen in the past. The 4-year cycle is broken. I'll say it like that. The 4-year cycle is broken. That doesn't mean that we're not establishing a new cycle, as well as it's destined to end, is it not? It's destined to end. And that's why it's such a hard conversation to have about fiat around the world. Because at some point, digital assets become the norm. And fiat becomes the also-ran. I firmly believe that fiat is going to wind up going away. Maybe not in my lifetime, but my kids' lifetime, strong possibility. And countries are trying to figure out, how do we handle that? But they're afraid to have the conversation. They're afraid to sit down and actually talk about it. And they do what they normally do. Oh, the next best thing is coming, and they just try to take it over. Massive problem. Massive problem, in my humble opinion. And I'm not right about everything. I'm right about some things. China imposed stricter silver export controls. Mind you, that's not the only thing that China's doing. China's unloading a lot of U.S. debt at the same time. Vitalik Buterin argued in a blog post that concentrated power from big business, big government, and big mob. This is what he said, not what I said. Big mob requires engineered diffusion, citing examples like Sci-Hub and Ethereum's Lido protocol, meaning we need to get away from centralization. That's what his argument is about. So many people are going to get that wrong. That's what his argument is about centralization and how to break it up. And that's why I pay attention to these things. Just saying, the budget, the 2025 budget, has weakened the CFPB, Consumer Financial Protections Bureau, to a point where they had to go to court, and the court is saying, yeah, nah, you can't do that. Because he's basically gutted the CFPB, the new regime has gutted the CFPB by removing funding. He didn't fire anybody. He didn't dissolve the agency. But he removed funding, and now he's going to court and saying, hey, we can't do this because there's no funding. And that's not good. That's not good at all. Remember, you know how I keep mentioning to you that there have been rollbacks in the financial industry regulations? Well, the CFPB was put together to also help fight greed in the financial markets. And by getting rid of the CFPB, there's nobody there to fight for consumers. Mind you, the CFPB wins cases, wins money, and can fund itself based off of that. But that's not what they want. A fox just scooted across my backyard. So yeah, these are things that we're playing with in the United States, and we need to be very much aware, because we seem to be being pushed back into a 2008, 2009 scenario. And I don't know if you recall, but that was not good. That was a few years of pain in the marketplace. And it looks like it's going to be unavoidable. Something else that's been said is that when strippers stop getting tipped well in the United States, you're headed for a recession. Guess who's not being tipped well in the United States? Fun fact. Fun fact. Just saying. Morgan Stanley predicts 10% of European banking jobs, about 212,000 jobs, could disappear by 2030 due to AI automation. Imagine. Excuse me. Due to AI and automation. They forget to also tell you that they've taken a lot of those jobs and pushed them to India and Bangladesh, meaning financial institutions. That's another reason why a lot of those jobs will disappear from certain areas. But yes, there will be tasks that will be removed. And because those tasks were removed, you don't necessarily need as many people to do those jobs. And you want to know, those jobs aren't just low-level whatever jobs. We're talking about analyst jobs. We're talking about primo jobs that can be done using technology. Just saying. I did an experiment a while ago. I keep telling you guys I have a tool that will help me perform tokenomics and reviews of stocks and digital assets, things like that. I built a tool to do that, just to see if it could actually be done. What kind of information could I actually get? Wow. And I did this a year and a half ago. A year and a half ago. I can punch in any stock and get a report in like 5 minutes. And I can alter the information that I want to see in that report. I can alter the charts that I want to see, all that good stuff. And what used to take people a long time with all kinds of, formulas and all that good stuff, I can just do in 5 minutes. So think about all those analyst positions that are going to wind up going away. Those are jobs that normally go to college grads. 6-figure jobs that go to college grads. High fives, low sixes, depending on, how smart you were, how you negotiated yourself, all that good stuff. But you're going to see a decrease in the number of jobs in that space. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's not me cracking jokes. That is a fact, a straight up fact. Oops. And a lot of people are wondering, well, how does that happen? It's always happened like that, right? Before you had a spreadsheet, you had people doing computing by hand. It sounds nuts, but that's how it worked. And now you've got AI that can assist you with certain tasks. That gives you another level of work that's out there. Now, here's the thing. Some jobs will go away. Other jobs will be created. It's up to us to figure out what jobs will be created, learn those skills, and get into those jobs. But the financial sector, a lot of those jobs can be taken over by technology like automation, like AI, so long as you know what you're doing. I'm seeing ideas being done in certain companies. I'm just like, why are you doing it like that? What's wrong with you? Good ideas, implementation. Even worse, great idea tossed by the wayside. Oh, we don't have the budget to do it. It pays for itself in 6 months. They don't care. I just don't like it. That's why we're not going to do it. Could save you $1 billion a year? Nah, don't want to do it. Disjointed, dysfunctional. I swear to you, some companies out there make money despite themselves. It's insane. It's insane the way that works. But you know what we should do? That's right. We should go over the numbers. Let's see. Let me get my notes out of the way. All right, yeah, because I have to look at several different screens to get everything all set up, to switch screens and all that good stuff. Dow futures implied open 69 points down. S&P futures implied open 13.5 points down. NASDAQ futures implied open 69.75 points down. Oil up 0.36. 10-year down 0.018. Again, looks like a market that's going like this. We'll get there. Any news coming out today? Barnes & Noble, RCI, yeah, whatever. Big lots today. Yeah, nothing that I'm really paying attention to. Valeo Pharmacy or Pharma. We already got the big FOMC news yesterday. We get initial jobless claims today. Big whoop. Happy New Year's Eve, by the way. Right now we're at 21, down from 23. Deeper into extreme fear. DeFi Llama, we're down to 116. We were at 118. We're moving in the wrong direction. People are stuck like deer in the headlights. Just saying. When you're looking at Bitcoin, you're seeing that, yes, we're bopping up against 89 grand. But look at this. How long have we been within this space? That's a long time. And this is almost a straight line. Oof. Look at it. Heartbeats. Bink, bink. Down. Bink, bink. Down. Bink, bink. Down. We're due for another bink, bink. Like if I'm looking at this, if I'm looking at Bitcoin, we're due for another one of those. Another heartbeat. Do your own research. Know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. Understand what's going on in the marketplace so that you can make those good decisions. You can make money in a down market, a lateral market, and an up market. But you have to do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. Sometimes the best move is not to move. Sometimes the best move is to get in. Sometimes the best move is to get out. But always the best move, doing your own research, putting those points together to see if you can put together that pearl necklace. A lot of these pearls of information go together, flow together. They go on the same strand. They all affect each other. It's up to us to find them, put them together, and see what it looks like. Just saying. Looking at the big board, I'm still seeing the same thing. Just opportunities to buy stuff. Nothing's where I want it to be in terms of numbers, so I think of everything as being on sale. I don't have to rattle it all off. This is an interesting number. I don't have to rattle it all off because you know it's there. BNB below $1,000 is a big deal, and it's well below $1,000 right now. Just saying. XRP below $2. What? There are a lot of things that if you look at it right now, you can see how you can make money. You can definitely see how you can make money. The question is, how long will it take for it to go up? So the same way that we identified the heartbeat in Bitcoin, right? It would be our job to look at other places where we might be able to find the same heartbeat, but the amount of money that can be made, that percentage is higher. I'm looking for increasing my value. I don't care how I do it, as long as it's legal, but I'm looking to increase my value. And some people would say, well, doesn't that mean make money? It means increase my value. So if I can buy 100 Bitcoin, right? If I could buy 100 Bitcoin at a good price and it goes up, sell it. I'm expecting a heartbeat, right? So if I can get in here, I get the heartbeat, I'm going to try to sell as close to that heartbeat as possible. And when it drops back down, I can buy 101 Bitcoin. See how that works? And some people are like, oh, that's not a big enough move to mean anything. 101 Bitcoin versus 100? I don't know. It's 1%. Yeah, sure. But what's the value that you just gained? And you're going to tell me that's not necessarily worth it? That's what I look at. No, 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 no. It is what it is, man. Not every year we're gonna have that Santa rally. Not every year that happens. I think this was a gear up year. I think it's a gear up year. And I want you to stop and think about something. So let me switch over to this screen because it'll really tell the story, right? So year to date, Bitcoin is down 4.81%. Ethereum is down just over 10%. Where were we a year ago? And what happened immediately following that? We saw some nice highs, saw a couple of lows, saw some nice highs. For me, okay, hear me out. Because a year ago, before that, this was a great number. This was a great number to be at. Because where were we previously? And everybody's sitting in the doldrums, forgetting about that. And I'm sitting here and I'm going, what is wrong with you people? Be thrilled. Be thrilled that you have an opportunity to get in again. Build value so that when it goes back up, where are you at? Again, do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. That's what we're talking about. Right? That's what we're talking about. And the reason why we're talking about that is because so many people have lost faith. And I'm like, why would you be losing faith? It wasn't that long ago that we were at $15,000. And how long was it for us to battle back? And what do we have on our side this time? Knowledge, infrastructure, and implementation. There are more people buying my book, both of them, than there ever have been. Interesting, no? What does that say to you? It says that people want the knowledge. People want that knowledge. Go to Amazon, get the books, understand them, because these are not books that you read them and you put them down, you never see them again. These are books that you can reference like every day. They hold evergreen information about digital value and how to track everything. It's not a get rich scheme, that kind of book. It's not that kind of thing. It's knowledge and awareness. And I've been looking for people to tell me, hey, I want you to bring back your learn how to do your own research class. So many people think they know how to do research. And they miss things. They miss patterns, bigger patterns. They're so close and up in on it. They can see all this stuff, but they don't take a step back to see all this stuff, how they all come together. That's why I said there are pearls of information, and some of those pearls come together. Some make bracelets, some make necklaces. But they're not just standalone pearls of information if they're used properly, if they're identified properly. Just saying. Just saying. And don't forget, all the things that I talk about, all the things that I miss, because I don't get to all the news points that I have to bring up. A lot of those things are on growmybag.tv. Go there, look at the articles. Every morning we pump out like 20 some odd articles, averaging about 20 a day, 20 every morning. Then we have articles come out throughout the day and all that good stuff. Just saying. And that's not even everything that's out there. Who's this guy? Hearsay ETF. I think it's Hearsay ETF. And his name is Henry Jim. He's out of Switzerland. This guy is amazing. He's a part of the Bloomberg team, Eric Balkunis and the other guys. And this guy talks about nothing but ETFs. Nothing but ETFs. He's freaking amazing. Check him out. He's over on X. Came across him yesterday. He's posting some really good stuff. There's news all over the place. We can't find it all. Why do you think we're building the Grow My Bag community? Because somebody's going to find a news source or somebody's going to find information. They're going to come back to the community and share that information. That will help all of us grow our respective bags. That's the whole reason why we built Grow My Bag. That's the whole reason why we have a whole social media platform dedicated to that. So when you become a member of growmybag.tv, you get access to the feed where you can have conversations with other people and people that have also paid to be there. This is a for-pay platform. We're trying not to have a ton of articles bombard you. You know what that also means? That also means that we're not trying to sell your information either. That's all us. That's the whole idea. We don't want you to be the product. If you're not paying for it, you are the product. It's a for-pay site. It's relatively cheap. Right now, the price for a bagger is only $12 a year. A big bagger is $120 a year. And there's a lot of stuff that comes with the big baggers. A lot of stuff that comes with the big baggers. And there's more. And we're growing it. We've been growing it for a couple of years now. The quality of the stuff that you see on the site now versus what we used to have, big difference, mighty big difference. Searchability of articles. And if you're a bagger, that's right, you're going to have to be a bagger to actually read the articles in a little while. We'll announce it, but it's probably going to be in January that we're going to be like, okay, you have to be a member to actually read the articles. Beyond that, you'll only get like a paragraph or something, if that. You'll get access to the feed. You'll get access to making comments on articles. Some people are like, oh, that's a standard thing to be able to, make comments on articles. And who's making those comments? Who's making those comments? Because it's free, right? Yeah. We're weeding out people. We're weeding out the people that we don't want to be a part of the community. It's a safe space for all of us to learn. Just because I'm the talking head doesn't mean I know everything. I learn stuff by listening to you guys every flippin' day. That's what it's all about. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. I hope you like what I'm doing. If you do me a favor, smash the likes, tell your friends about us. And if you can, go to growmybag.tv and become a member and enjoy the over 13,000 articles that we have. Just saying. And all the videos that we have. We have a lot more to come this year. 2026 is going to be a breakout year for the Grow My Bag community for sure. For sure. 12, Red Star, 12. I mean, yes, the price is going to go up at some point, but it's always going to be affordable. Imagine if the price was $36 a year to have access to 13,000 articles, videos, commentary, a feed, a social media platform dedicated to one topic. We're not talking about sports. We're not talking about politics. We're not talking about religion. We're not talking about anything that doesn't affect our bags. Wouldn't $3 a month be cheap? Ridiculously cheap. There are sites that charge more and you still have to, swim through ads. I went to Facebook the other day, right? It's where we all started, some of us, MySpace. But I went to Facebook the other day and it took me to scroll 5 different times before I saw one post from one of my friends. And then it was more ads. This might interest you. No, it doesn't. I'm only here to see my friends. So now we've moved into groups, which takes us away from the feed. We're giving less and less and less to these general platforms. GrowMyBag.tv is a highly acute platform dedicated to what? Investing and increasing our knowledge in investing. That's what. Anyway, everybody, thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And as always, thank you for your trust. We will fight for that every single day. Everybody have a good one. Bye-bye. Ooh, wait. Happy New Year. Be safe. No, I'm not going to do a show tonight. Most likely. Who knows? Most likely I won't do a show. Most likely I'm going to sit back and relax a little bit. Tomorrow, it's going to be New Year's. There'll probably be a lot of stuff to talk about. I don't know yet. So between tonight and tomorrow, I don't know. But you will definitely see me on Friday. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff to do. And you know what? If you are on growmybag.tv, there's a feed where we can carry on the conversation. If you're a big bagger, there's a separate big bagger feed. You get 2 feeds. Just saying. Anyway, everybody, Happy New Year. Thank you for yet another great year, and I'm looking forward to 2026.